Achami. Yeah.
Oh,
typical
organized noise.
Organized and produced noise in certain quarters or from certain quarters. You know, look at. Be a big black crowd. You can let us know what this reminds you of, these songs. What do they remind you of?
Reminds me of the prices of goods and services at the time. Yes.
Way back, way cheaper. If you had no fuel, you can buy BBBBBBBBBP. These days, if you have no fuel, you can buy BBBBBBBBP.
Yesterday there was a debate. We're asking the Doomso time and now what's up? And Charlie, it looks like Doomso even was chopping. Was chopping on that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Charlie, even then you could still buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been without
People
power
lost.
for the last 24 hours, so I don't really know what's going on. I think our producer Sixtus also said in his vicinity the lights have been off for about coming up to 24 hours. Thereabouts.
You know, when I raised this concern, I put a post on Facebook, and I said, so light off, but it's not doom, so it's doom CC. I left it there. And some people came and took me home. You never say anything positive about the government. But I said, I have bought credit, prepaid. My money is with the service provider. All right? And then I'm not getting the service. I'm raising a concern. And even saying that, look, the minister said it's not doom, so it's doom CC. So that is what it is. You see, I'm not saying anything positive about the government. They said, but you draw government into everything. I said, but when ECG went on a revenue drive, the government said we have thrown our weights behind ECG because they will help us to get money to pay IPPs. So if ECG is not providing the service and I'm not in debt and I'm giving them money and they are holding on to my money and not giving me service, I should be able to raise my and say it. I don't know why people are uncomfortable when you ask for quality service and you ask for proper services. And also your plan B, Abiam. And also your plan B. And also a plan B. We'll play that song for you in a bit. But I don't understand. I mean, your lights have been off since when? Almost 24 hours?
Almost 24 hours. Coming up to.
William, have you experienced it?
I have power.
You're a lucky man.
You have power.
It's okay.
It's brutal, though, not having energy. Charlie.
So, I think, was it on Saturday? Was it Saturday? I think so. Yeah. I think it was Saturday.
Free FM Sunrise. FM Sunrise.
Ronechi Matrada, because of Mancrada,
So you tell us what your ECG situation is. Do you have lights? Do you not have lights? Yeah, we're asking just a simple question. Ubutum to saying, how's your pocket? How's it doing? Yeah, your pocket. Is it full? Is it empty? Is it almost empty? Is it halfway, to the bottom? Is it perforated? What does your pocket look like? Let's have a conversation. Your pocket, what does it look like? What does it feel like at this point? Is your pocket broadcasting a separate message or a different message to you? Because we're being told that we're what's the term? We are on the bend or
we've turned a corner.
We've turned the corner.
Yeah.
So things will be looking better. Mr. Kwame Pinim says we are not on the road to turn the corner.
Yeah. Okay.
But those are divergent views. Two economists. Oh no. So for us economists, no, it's not an economist, right?
Not as far as we know. Yeah.
But by two people within the finance space talking about whether you're on the road or whether you've taken a bend. We don't know.
What did he mean by we've turned a corner? Because the figures that he presented on the day didn't sound like corner turning figures, especially where they've been revised downwards. I don't know what metrics he used at the time, because today, within the next 24 hours, we'll see petrol prices soar, diesel prices soar. It's not looking great. What metrics is he referring to?
For me, it's very simple. We have the macroeconomic outlook, where you say Ghana has made so much in terms of revenue with regards to exports. Ghana has made so much. So if you look at that, you say we've turned the corner because maybe there's a huge improvement. But how much of that money will hit Ghana's account as a country? That's where the real economics is. Because at the end of the day, all the businesses or the companies that are producing that thing, say oil, that is making the huge exports and bringing in the huge revenue. We say Ghana has made such an amount of money, or over the last couple of years we made A, B, C, D.
Right.
But at the end of the day, how much percentage do we have in that industry? You understand?
What is our share?
Yes. We talk about cocoa. We talk about cocoa processing. We see a lot of chocolate products around today. The exports, the cocoa and the chocolate bars that we export. We say, oh, Ghana has exported so much cocoa, so much chocolate. So the chocolate side, how much did we export? How much did we make as a country? And how much is coming to Ghana? How much is staying here? So then you look at capital flight, where companies take their monies out. Is it every quarter they take monies out?
Yes,
every quarter. Every quarter. So this IMF money that is coming, the dollars that we are getting, these foreign companies are going to generate revenue in cedis. They will throw in the cedis and pick the dollar and then take it out. So if a lot of companies are not producing to keep the money here, you see the cedi will begin to chase the dollar again.
Right.
So then the economy will be tight, inflation will still be up, and so on and so forth. So it is for us to look at indigenous businesses, and that's why people were against the closure of those banks.
Yes.
Because if you clean up the banks and you close down a lot of these banks that belong to indigenous Ghanaians, then you leave the foreign banks in the system. They'll make the money and take them, and they're not going to take your cedi away. They'll take the dollar.
That's
that
right.
you don't have.
And you know, the other time I made an example with the regular dining hall, dining table items. I spoke about the confit juice. And I said, look, if we're able to produce to meet the demands, children will take a confit juice to school. The snack bars will have them. Cafeterias across will have them. It will become like a regular thing. Because it is produced here, the money will stay here, right? On a daily basis, I don't know, I've not eaten chocolate in about two weeks. No, I say I've not eaten chocolate in about 2 weeks. That's because I take the raw cocoa, but even that is because it's done here. I take the raw cocoa. But I remember I had a bar of chocolate because my small boy likes it. So you know, but then I don't remember the last time I did. But if you ask me, basic things like milk, like sugar, bread, fruit juice, these are daily things that we consume every day. Can we, for example, pick half of what we put into cocoa and invest into, say, coffee juice? Because we invest into cocoa, we harvest the cocoa, we take the raw beans out there, and we get prices that are dictated to us, not what we deserve. But if we produce the juice here, we can then set the price and then rake in the money and keep it here.
And so
this one,
the telcos,
I mean,
they are generating a lot of money. They are making a lot of profit. At the end of the day, they can't take cedis out. They will have to change into hard currency, dollars, pounds, and then it goes out. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is the cedi is always chasing the dollar and making the dollar stronger and the cedi weaker. And if the cedi is that weak, it's just inflation. It's losing its worth. You know, and so as Ghanaians, even if you get salary pay rise, which doesn't happen often, you know, and if you get it, it will never be able to hit the inflationary rates because inflation is now 43.1. Is it?
Yes, that's right.
And
That's what it is.
how many Ghanaians get pay rise at 40%? I mean, and this inflation has been going up. I mean, over the last year, it's gone up so many times and so high.
That's right.
You know, so if we are talking about how the economy is making the bend or turning the bend or going around the bend, these are the real issues because that's what the book numbers there. They'll be good, but on the ground we don't have it. We don't. Ghana is we don't have money, and it's even more dangerous when we print. You know, we print money, and you see money I see money as two things. The currency is the notes that we see.
Right.
The money is the
value.
worth,
The value. Right.
behind. That's why the dollar is so strong. You know, we have a lot of intellectual properties that are produced in the US. We have Zuckerberg. We have tech people. And you see, a lot of these rich people are engineers.
Yes.
They are in the engineering. They are using. The brain is the raw material that they are using in the US and Japan and China.
Yeah.
You know, so at the end of the day, they don't even touch their oil. America has a lot of oil, plenty oil. They don't. They are touching the brains of their people.
For the rainy day.
And what are we doing to our youth? Yesterday, I was going home with my daughter that early, around 9 something, and there were so many of our sisters by the road. She asked me that, is there a school here? And it was that early.
School of Hard Knocks.
It was that early.
But they're already there.
Daddy,
As at 9 a.m. you mean?
Around that
Yes,
Adenta
9
area.
PM.
Around that Adenta area.
Yeah, you know, Kwabinya.
Yes.
Oh, they're also
They're
all
there.
over.
Oh,
Yes.
well, the thing has moved from
The thing
Circle.
has moved. It's all over.
All over the place, and we are looking out this morning. We want
Somebody
to look
says
at
government should tax hookup because it's,
You said it.
somebody said it. It sounds like something I would say. Okay, I take it. If you are insisting that I said it,
Is there a school here? So
you know, one of the key things that came up when we had the OB at Medina Market was the fact that a market had been built, it's been left, and now they are there. The night workers, the sisters have taken over with the brothers who also, incense the area with all manner of things. And the market women can't find space to go and sell. Can you imagine? So it's not too cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool. Hey, we're asking you, what's your pocket looking like? When we come back from this break, we'll have a conversation with you. Are your lights on? Are they off? Tell us. And we'll see you shortly after this one.
Arsenal, body dropping on me heavy, you know what I'm saying? Check it out, 1, 2, like I go.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Pack Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9, up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gamepackgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Pack Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Pack Games. More moolah, more power.
In an era where the business environment is constantly changing, the need for accounting and finance professionals who can guide and lead organizations to sustainable success is critical. The good news is, CIMA's CGMA designation, held by over 150,000 professionals globally, delivers the skills, competencies, and mindsets that employers require. Learn more about the CGMA designation at www.aicpa-cima.com or email accra@aicpa-cima.com.
Usika seme nkoyiana quick credit sia say sika pe ennafom intina yabasa ye becheche wo yambosia bonchehye ye ho wutumi bobosia edifi asua ye fee 1,500 Ghana cedis edeko na nia wo hia ne wo national ID card wo hia se wo betu susu wo hia awowa ye ngiseke bia nto ho wo nsanso hia se
You are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, we break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
Knowledge is power. We put you in the know of the happenings in Ghana and the world over. The main reason why you need to start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us. Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiampofo, William Asiedu,
and Noble Crosbyan.
Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7. Your urban lifestyle radio.
You are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
Knowledge is power. We put you in the know of the happenings in Ghana and the world over. The main reason why you need to start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us. Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiampofo, William Asiedu,
and Noble Crosbyan.
Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7. Your urban lifestyle radio.
You are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
Knowledge is power. We put you in the know of the happenings in Ghana and the world over. The main reason why you need to start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us. Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiampofo, William Asiedu,
and Noble Crosbyan.
Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only.
On 92.7 3FM.
Sunrise on 3FM.
Of sports guys here at Media General. Here's his view on sports betting. Listen.
They're trying to make it look like this is supposed to, in a way, curb betting. But let me tell you that in the past 4 years.
Actually, that was a narrative before this whole thing started. I remember now.
Yeah, in the past 4 years, government have made 450 million Ghana cedis from betting companies alone.
Through licensing.
Yeah,
through
450 million Ghana cedis. And so why would you turn around and take up a poster that makes it look like you hate this thing? This devil is the same thing that is feeding you and giving you the excess money.
Yeah.
And the truth is you want to make more because you've realized that there's a bigger market out there. You realize that it was just one section of the betting industry.
They were dealing with the handlers.
Yeah.
And not the punters.
Now they are going to the real source, the people who actually give these betting companies money. And look, I think it's unfair on two parts because, as I said, these companies are already renewing their license fees, paying taxes, and a lot of the discussion doesn't always factor the fact that the new laws also include the betting firms. They also have to now pay an extra 20% from the revenue that they make. It's not just about
they can't stand it, they'll close shopping.
Yeah, so we've had one betting. I mean, I wouldn't mention their name. I think, but I think they've already pulled out. They said, "Look, Ghanaian market, I beg, it's okay. Don't bet again," because here's the case where you are killing whatever it is from two parts. The betting companies cannot sustain themselves anymore, and now you are cutting down the market because you say people should pay 10% of their winners. Look, you don't need to do economics to understand the meaning of tax or what tax is. But the whole point of tax is that when you make an income, government expects that, you are using our resources. You are part of this country. And so just give us something small that we use to maintain the country. Yeah.
That was Oreku Amofa. Oreku Amofa, sorry. I know I keep saying Oreku Amofa. Yes, Oreku Amofa, not Oreku Amofa. Oreku Amofa is a different person. William knows Oreku Amofa. Yeah, Oreku Amofa.
When your sports men and women start delving into taxation, economics, then you know, sir, the pressure is really getting worse. That was a nice little masterclass from Oreku there, and also gave me a bit more perspective and insight. I hadn't even thought about the fact that government takes or rakes in that much from the handlers, as Theory puts it, and now they've turned their focus to the pundits. And also this argument where morality has come into play in the last few days or so. I've heard people say, well, it's good, it'll help people stop betting. Oreku said, well, this same Satan, devil, the demonic thing, you are raking in so much money from that side. Why didn't you decide to put measures in place that would deter people from a long time? And now that you are collecting tax, you're also trying to attach that other reason to it, if that's the case.
I know very well employed people who bet, people who earn, right? 4-figure, 5-figure figures, for their salaries, and they still bet. I know people like that. You hang out with a lot of them. They have the app on their phone, a while away time, and they just throw in some 20, 50, 100 CDs, hoping that something will come out of it. So it's not just a matter of those who are unemployed, who are lazy, who do not want to do anything, who are betting. I mean, there's also the genuine case of those who have nothing to do because the jobs are not available, the enabling environment is not there. They have ideas, they go to the banks won't give them anything because they don't have nothing to guarantee with and all of that. So we need not look at the issue as if it is just a group of young people who are lazy, who don't want to do hard work, who are interested in betting, and that's why we want to tax them. I think that's a wrong place to start the conversation.
But betting addiction is also a thing. So it's also real. It's not something, I don't have the figures on it, so I can't shed much light on that. But I know it's something that people also deal with.
Let me engage lawyer and tax policy analyst Francis Timori Boy. Good morning, counsel. Thank you for your time. How are you?
Good morning, Johnny. I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm greater than Accra. I can't be much
Nice
less.
one.
now, counsel, you tell me first of all, is this new tax which takes effect today on bet winnings, Is it necessary at all?
So, Johnny, first of all, I don't want us to call it new tax. This tax has been there since, but I wouldn't want to go back. I would just stop from 2015. 2015, when we passed the Income Tax Act, 2015 Act 9896, under Section 1115, it was classified as an investment income. Lottery is classified as investment income, and you and I will agree that it is the highest investment returns you can get. Somebody can place 5 cedis and can get over 1 million Ghana cedis.
Right.
So that has been there. Then in 2016, there were proposals that because when you lose, the amount is not allowed for deduction. In other words, if you lose, government doesn't mind you. You are on your own. It is only when you win, that is when they will slap 5%. Then, so in 2016, there was a proposal that let us exempt the first 2,592 cedis. If you win 2,592 cedis, then you don't pay tax. It is above that amount, then you pay 5%. Then in 2017, the National Lottery Authority made a proposal that, look, the tax is killing the lottery business, so let's scrap it. So in the 2017 budget, proposals were sent to Parliament, and it was scrapped as an investment income. Then we are seeing it being reintroduced in 2023. This time, the exemption is gone. The 2,592 that was there for people to, manage the losses, and because sometimes you can place for a very long time before you win. So that, in the current form, the exemption is gone. And we have also increased the rate from 5% to 10%. So clearly, it is something that has been in our books for a very long time. For some reason, it was taken off, and they are now bringing it back. So I don't see it as.
Is the timing, Council? Is the timing right?
Of course, people. I mean, GRA has been lambasted to think outside the box. And Johnny, this is an investment. The same way I will also go and put my money in bank and make a return. Somebody may also put money in betting and also make a return. Again, this is not only in Ghana. Around closest is Kenya. Kenya even slaps 20% on the winnings, and then there's also excise tax is like VAT on betting. That is 7.5.
Right.
We have all other jurisdictions who play, taxes, investment income. I rather would call it an investment income. I wouldn't call it even betting. So the timing is right because we are looking at how do we expand the tax net. And let me give you some statistics. Okay.
Right.
The gaming industry alone in 2016, it was valued, sports betting, it was valued at $70 billion in 2016. 2022, it is close to $100 billion. And the industry is growing. People are making fortunes. So if you really want to expand the tax net, you should look at both employment income, business income, and investment income. So in my view, this is not new. Possibly we are now trying to enhance the compliance measures. So I think that there's nothing like wrong timing. It is an investment income that needs to be taxed, just like you have invested in shares and you have made gains and you have to pay tax on your capital gains.
The streets will disagree that the timing is right and that the tax has to be there after all, because they say the jobs aren't there. And so this is what they are using, as they say on the streets, to hold their body. What do you say to that?
I will agree slightly in terms of we increasing the rate 10%. What we could do to cater for those who are unemployed and those who, do it for a living is that introduce a minimum threshold like we had in 2015. If you have a minimum threshold, you can say maybe any winnings above 2,000 cedis, let's tax it at 10% or maybe 5%. I was even advocating that the rate should still remain at 5% because sometimes you have to bet for several times before you win. So one win can be swallowed by several attempts to win again, and that results in losses. So let's introduce a minimum threshold that will take care of the people who are really doing it for a living. Anybody who earns a huge amount above that threshold must be taxed, just like anybody who has also done investment. So on that angle, that will be my response to them.
Okay.
We should still tax it, but introduce some minimum threshold and possibly reconsider bringing the rate from 10% to 5%. I know Kenya does 20%, India, for example, does around 28%. But all of these ones are above some amount. In our case, even if you win one city, the rate of 10% applies. That is where I think there's that little bit unfairness.
I see. Now, again, the conversation about tax mobilization and tax utilization comes up again. The young people say, look, we are already paying on the e-levy front. So even if we win, the money will be put into our Momo accounts. If we have to go and transact business with it or buy anything, we will still be paying e-levy. So they see that as multiple taxation. But they say they do not see anything tangible being done with the taxes that are mobilized from them. What could government do to convince these young, enthusiastic, bold people who are against this tax that, look, rest assured, we be fine?
Johnny, I agree with you 100%. I mean, taxpayers in Ghana continuously find ways to avoid taxes because some perceive that we don't know what the tax money are being used for. But I think there's a national issue. It's a whole national discussion that all of us must have. The taxes that has been collected, what do we use for? Let me take, for example, the communication service tax. We were told that, in fact, it's in the law, that 20% of the communication service tax revenue will be used to support youth employment.
That's correct.
The question is, where is the job for the employment? How much has been received? And how have we used it? So if I'm a young person and I notice that I really don't feel the way the money is being used, possibly they are using it, but we need more convincing evidence that the money has been used in ABCD. Then in that case, I know when I'm paying. If you go to Japan, I mean, the people pay tax as high as almost close to 60% of their income, but they don't complain because they know that the money is being used. I think that discussion, the usage of the money with its related corruption and all those, how the tax money ends up in people's pockets and all those things, it's a whole national issue that everybody must join for us to discuss. And it goes back to the war against corruption. It's a bigger discussion that all of us need to have.
There were three taxes that were made aware of. Income tax has gone up, excise duty tax has gone up, and there's one other tax handle, three of them. Then you can add this one that has also gone up. But that's appear that government is just pushing the thresholds of all the taxes. But the question that is being asked on the street is, we need to have the capacity to pay or satisfy what the tax is demanding to be able to fulfill that prerequisite. As it stands now, the people say our pockets are not heavy enough. They may be porous for some almost empty. And all these taxes are being demanded from us at the same time. Our government is not being fair. Agree, disagree?
I agree in part. You see, when the IMF gave us the conditionality, they gave us three conditions. First is to make sure that you embark on medium to long-term revenue mobilization. Clearly, our tax to GDP ratio in Ghana was quite lower than the sub-region. So they said, do something. Now, doing something about the taxes. The second condition was that bring your debt level down. So we embark on the domestic debt exchange. The next one is that look at your expenditure and cut it. Government says they are doing something there. But let me talk about the tax one. You remember they said medium to long term. Unfortunately, because government needs to raise enough money to be able to match its expenditure, or possibly because we've not been able to bring down the expenditure side because of maybe some political promise that has been made, government is enforcing so many of the taxes in order to bring the revenue up. So those things that should have been done in the medium term are being done in the short term. And most of the taxes have come in the form of consumption tax because they are the easiest to collect.
Right.
So all of these things are compounding the problem. So I agree with you that yes, we introduce so many tax handles at the same time. So it can choke the capacity of the tax-paying populace. And you remember that when it comes to income tax, just about 2.4 million people out of the total population pay tax. So 100% on spot. We should have looked at it, or we could look at it in a more long-term approach. We can't do everything at the same time. So if you realize, the minister said that VAT is dropping when he presented the media budget. It's because of the numerous taxes that has been introduced. So the capacity, the system cannot absorb it any longer. And possibly we have to try and see how do we spread it across a longer term.
What will happen if the bettors decide that, look, we will boycott, we won't bet, so that the tax will not come to you, just as we saw in the matter of the e-levy, where people boycotted using mobile money, the platforms to transport money, and it's evident that we are not hitting the targets that we set for ourselves. What would happen if the bettors decided not to play ball with government?
Johnny, because they are getting some returns, I'm expecting some change in behavior. However, there shouldn't be a drastic change. Now, if you compare with the e-levy, there are two quite distinct events. With e-levy, I had the option of handling cash or using electronic. Right. If I use electronic, you tax me. With the betting, I don't think there's so much option if you really want to make some returns from betting. So we expect some impact, but then because you are putting in money to get something out of it, unlike the e-levy where you are not getting any returns, so people will continue to bet. Now, the danger with this betting is that if at the end of the day, we have onshore, unlicensed operators coming into the market, that is where we are going to have a problem.
What problem?
In India, for example, we have people who could still bet online.
Okay.
And those people are not licensed by the Gaming Commission. So GRA will not see those operators to collect the betting tax. So if I could bet online and I will get the money if I win paid into my Momo account or through my Visa account or whatever, I can go online to the internet and bet. Because they didn't come through the Gaming Commission to license, where is the GRA going to get them to pay the withholding tax? Remember, this tax is they deduct it from your winnings. So those people will be outside the country and still be operating. Currently, India faces that challenge where many unlicensed people are getting into the system, paying out winnings all right, and then they are getting away. So if I have that option, then our estimate that we have made on this betting will be in jeopardy.
Do you think that government could have done a lot more consultation before rolling out this tax handle? In fact, not a new tax as you've said earlier, but before increasing the threshold. Do you think that broader consultations could have been done?
Perfect, and I agree with you 100% because over the years we've noticed that most of our tax policies, we say we have done consultation, but it is on a minimal level. So I believe that a lot of education, more consultation should have gone on, educate the people and let them understand, for example, that this is an investment income. So you are just paying out of your investment returns and possibly the rate. If I invest in, let's say, on dividends, if I invest in shares, I pay tax at 8%.
Right.
So maybe the rate could have also been, say, 8%. I believe that consultation wasn't enough. Maybe it was done, but it wasn't enough. And therefore, we could have educated the people, especially those who place the bet, for them to understand, and then they buy in.
Now, it may have a political twist where the young people, majority of whom may not understand all the issues we have spoken about, and hopefully maybe they do now, but for those who are in their mind convinced that the government is just punishing them, it may have a political twist. Do you see it affecting the electoral victory of the government, as has been said by other political watchers?
Certainly, yes, especially for every tax policy that affects people's life and their livelihood. Certainly, people who do not understand it will interpret it in the way they like it. They will say, oh, this government, they like introducing too many taxes. But that is where the consultation should have come in. We could have educated them, and I hope that using your platform and people listening could now understand that, look, this has been an old tax which is there. They are just bringing it up, trying to, help government rake in more revenue, and especially because the industry is growing. But I agree with you that people who do not understand where it came from and how it is going will see that the government is just suffocating them, and it could lead to some political disadvantage in terms of elections.
If government decides to cut down on their expenditure and its size, as the last prerequisite which was given by the IMF in order to get a deal, do you get a sense that this frequent pushback each time government wants to up a tax or introduce a new tax handle would change?
Sure. Because you see, we operate a system where it is the income that you have received is what you are spending. So if the income is not enough, then certainly you need to cut your expenses. But what we've seen is that most of those expenditure that is driving our, the high level of expenditure are most of them are more like political promises. Take, for example, the free SHS. There has been calls to revamp it so that you could ease the burden on government. So I believe that if the expenditure comes down, the number of taxes that we are introducing will go down. And sometimes some of these betting and all those things that we introduce, the reasons why we scrap it in 2017, we can go back and even scrap it. Then people can do, or even if we don't want to scrap it, we can even reduce it, or possibly those that have been increased. For example, VAT, instead of 15%, we could bring it down to 12.5%. So we are increasing the taxes because the expenditure is not coming down for some reason. But I agree with you. If we're able to bring it down, we will also see a balance in the equation.
For that young person who is stuck between going ahead to go and bet so that government can deduct something if they win, and deciding not to bet at all so that he would have nothing to do with government in terms of contributing to national development because they think that our leaders have not been patriotic enough. One thing said, another thing done. What would you say to them?
Seriously, I think that it's a give and take matter. Yes, government says they want 10%, so it means that you take the 90%. Certainly, you can't say that 90% is not good. 90% is better than zero. So, I'm not trying to encourage betting because I don't even know how to do it. But then, I don't think that it is prudent to say that because government is taking 10%, so you want a zero. I mean, 90% is better than zero. So I will leave the decision for them to make. But in as much as government is taking a share of it, from tax perspective, I see it as an investment income. And so for me, I think it's a fair balance. If I earn income from selling my shares on the stock exchange and I pay tax, then somebody who also earns another investment income should also pay. But I will leave the decision for people to either engage in betting or not. I don't think that the tax should completely influence the whole decision.
The conversations that heralded this introduction of tax, or if you like, the upgrade of the rates, was that the youth were becoming addicted to betting and they were becoming lazy. This came from the highest political class in this country. And that may have infuriated the young people to think that, well, the jobs are not available. We're trying to make ends meet with tax betting. And you are telling us that we are lazy. Now you want 10% of our money. Great. So if you want 10% of our money when we win, how about giving us 10% of our investment when we lose out? What do you say to that?
So on the issue of whether the youth are lazy, I'm not too convinced about that argument. If you watch Premier League, anytime they are playing Premier League, so we see we see betting companies advertising. So which means that in the foreign country too, they do betting. So it doesn't look like it's only unique to Ghana. But on the issue of the loss, around the world, when there's a loss, there is some administrative challenges. You can't really keep record of the losses that have taken place. So, for example, every betting event is seen as a separate item. So you cannot come back and, deduct the losses from the gains that you have made. Otherwise, you're going to have challenges in implementing it. So that is why the law has categorically stated that losses are not allowed. And if it is a gain, it is the gain from that event. So if I place a bet between Manchester and Liverpool, at the end of that event, it is that event alone that we are looking at. We cannot go and bring, let's say, Chelsea versus Liverpool, you place a bet, and then you go to Manchester versus Chelsea, you place a bet. Then we try and accumulate all the losses. No, you can't do that. Around the world, that cannot be done because of administrative challenges. So you cannot allow 10% losses or whatever. That is why in some cases we have to bring the rate down so that the rate reduction will take care of your losses that you have, incurred in previous events.
Bring the rate down to which figure?
Johnny, I would have wished that we go back to the 2015 when we passed the law, 5%.
5%.
Again, if we want to introduce the threshold, we had a threshold in 2016, 2,592. Let's bring it back. Then young people who are on the streets who are earning small amounts, you can now exempt them. If you think the 2,500 is too big, maybe, just do something to entice them. 1,000 CDs, 500, at least, so that they also know that that small amount that you've given them is to cater for the losses that they have lost in the previous event.
Well, Francis Timore Boy, lawyer and tax analyst, I thank you for your time this morning. We're grateful.
Thank you, Johnny.
Grateful.
Bye-bye.
All right.